Aloha and welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking about authentication protocols, specifically the Kerberos authentication protocol. And this is one of the trickier to understand ones. So let's go ahead and open up our textbooks here. So authentication protocols, Kerberos. So Kerberos is an authentication protocol that uses a ticket-based mechanism to authenticate a user and enable a user to access a network service. So this service is going to use the UDP port 88. So there's a couple things here that might be beyond your knowledge base right now, and that's UDP. There's two different protocols that are used. Often it's UDP and TCP. TCP requires a three-way handshake. UDP is more fire and forget type of thing. We've got to discuss that at some point if you don't understand that. It's not terribly necessary to understand it here. Just when we're dealing with security, sometimes we have to know the common ports that are used for different services. So the thing to get out of this is that Kerberos is going to use UDP on port 88. So another thing, Kerberos is also the default authentication protocol for Windows Server 2019. So even lately, Kerberos is still being used. It's been around for quite a while. So a Kerberos realm is a network that uses Kerberos for authentication. So Kerberos authentication involves three different entities. One is the server, one is the client, and the other is the key distribution center. So you've got the server hosting a service over here. You've got a user over here on the client that wants to get some kind of a service over on the server. So they use this trusted third party called a key distribution center, a KDC. And the KDC, it's going to help the user access the service that's hosted on that server. So the KDC, it consists of two parts. One is the authentication server that's going to do the authentication for us. The other one is going to be a ticket granting server. And this is where it gets kind of weird. So you've got your KDC, third party trusted party here. So it's third party. It's going to have two parts. It's got the authentication server. So it's going to authenticate the user and it's trusted by the server. And then you've got the ticket granting server. So ticket granting is something that is going to sound a little bit confusing at first, but I think you'll get the hang of it. So first part, let's just review authenticating on the authentication server of the KDC. It's going to say, okay, user, here I've got your credentials and your password. That checks out. All right, you're good. And then you've got the other part, the ticket granting server, and that's going to issue a ticket to a user that enables a user to access a service. So this is going to get kind of weird in a minute. So let's just keep that in mind. We've got server, client, and KDC, the key distribution center. KDC is the trusted third party here. Server and client are trusting that KDC for its transaction here. KDC has the authentication server that's going to say, okay, this user is who they say they are. They're good. And then they have this other part called a ticket granting server in it. And that ticket granting server, after it has authenticated the user, it's going to give them a ticket. And the user can then use this ticket to access services. So before we get there, we have some questions here. So we do have questions, a couple of questions here about what we just learned up here. You can go through these, kind of get that the easy parts, sunk in. Then we get into the actual Kerberos authentication itself, and this is kind of strange. So a user that wants to authenticate to a network, they're going to send an authentication request to the authentication server to begin with. In the beginning, they're going to send that authentication request message. They're going to that message, it's going to contain their identity information and their credentials. So once that authentication server validates their user identity, they're going to send the user a ticket granting ticket, a TGT. So this ticket granting ticket isn't a ticket that they can use to access a service. It's just a ticket granting ticket that says, hey, you've been authenticated. Now you can take this and request a service. So the ticket granting ticket is a ticket that enables a user to request access to a service from a TGS. So I hope you got that. So you authenticate, you get a ticket granting ticket, and you can use that to then go back to the TGS and ask for an actual service ticket. So A user that wants to access a service, they send their ticket granting ticket that they just got from the authenticating server. And they take that and they take the services identification number. Let's say they want to use, I don't know, random service number one over here. So that, let's say the service identification number is one. They take their ticket granting ticket, they take the service ID number, and they send that to the ticket granting service. And then the user's ticket granting ticket, it proves to the TGS that the user is previously authenticated. So the TGS is going to respond by sending them a service ticket and they can back to the user. And then this service ticket is an encrypted message that provides proof that the user is authorized to access the service. So this service ticket, it's only going to be valid for the duration of a single session. So a user that wants to access the same service later on, let's say after the session expires or whatever, they're going to have to get a new service ticket from the ticket granting service using again their ticket granting ticket. So I know that sounds kind of crazy. Let's take a look at it here in the participation activity. So you start out, you've got a client, they're sending this authentication request. It has their credentials in it. They send it to the KDC, that third party trusted entity. And then the next thing they're going to do, they're going to say, hey, that checks out. We're sending you a ticket granting ticket here. So we're sending you a ticket that is for ticket granting. So then you're saying, okay, I want this service ID. I'm going to give you back my ticket granting ticket and the service ID, and then they send back a service ticket. Then the client can go to the server with a service ticket, and it will know that it's been verified to actually use that service. So it's a multi-pronged process here, and you need to remember that service ticket's only good for that session. Once the session expires, they're going to have to go back and get they're going to have to take their TGT and their service ID and re-get one of those service tickets. So that's the process. Go through this many times. Kerberos is a very important authentication protocol. You're going to need to know this. So, go through this diagram, understand it really well, understand the different parts of it, and because you will be seeing this on the certification exam. And then over here we have participation activities. You can match these up and everything, and then you go down here and you match. You can go ahead and figure out which one matches the best. And that's all there is to this. So for me, when I was first learning Kerberos, maybe, gosh, 10, 15 years ago, it was a little bit daunting to understand all this. And I was like, why is there a ticket granting server and a ticket granting ticket and a service ticket and everything else? So you really just have to sit down and look and understand how this thing works back and forth. So go through that. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you out with that. Hope that was a helpful explanation. If not, just get in touch. We'll talk more about it. Aloha, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.